After the incredible success of the Cowabunga collection and the absolutely amazing Shredder's Revenge, it's not that surprising that yet another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles beat-em-up is coming to modern hardware. However, what is a surprise is the decision to bring back a largely forgotten arcade game that looks hugely different from the Turtles games that have found popularity recently. So with that said, join me today as we discuss a Turtles game that has never come home before and allow me to express my mixed feelings on the revelation that this is the next title from the brand to be revived and see a retail release. As, let's be honest, compared to the likes of Shredder's Revenge and the arcade games of the 90s, this Turtles entry looks hideously ugly, and I'm struggling to identify who the main target audience for this title is even supposed to be. So with all of this said, hello ladies and gentlemen, Big Daddy Top Hat here. This is the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants, an ugly looking video game nobody asked for. Yeah! But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor. If there are two things I love more than most things in this life, it's video games and saving money. So with the help from both myself and today's sponsor, Instant Gaming, we'd like to aid you in doing both. Instant Gaming distinguishes itself by offering discerning enthusiasts with the opportunity to procure video games at reduced rates. After all, if you are getting a digital copy of a game, shouldn't it be much cheaper than a physical, as there are no manufacturing costs? Well, we think so. So if you're getting a CD key, you might as well save some money on it. And with Instant Gaming, it is 100% legit because they get all their keys directly from the source, offering frugality without compromise. Consider for instance Tekken 8, typically retailing at a princely sum of £59, but one may acquire it through Instant Gaming and get 30% off, cutting the price to just £41. Perhaps even more insanely, Shredder's Revenge, which is meant to be £21, is 46% cheaper on their site, offering it up at a mere £11.47. And if you're a retro gamer like me, how about the entire Cowabunga collection at 64% off, lowering that bundle to just £12.46. Wow! So if you want to save some money on video games, and of course support what I do as well, click the first link down in the description. Anyway, the successful comeback of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games has been a thing of beauty. After years of mediocre to downright terrible titles released through the noughties and the 2010s, the realm of Turtles gaming finally decided to lean away from creating underwhelming games based around more modern iterations of the characters, and instead would lean towards what made both the brand and the game so popular in the 80s and 90s. This meant that in 2022, rather than getting yet another dodgy, uninspiring polygonal reimagining, we got both a collection of the all-time greats in one compilation, along with the phenomenal Shredder's Revenge, a beautiful sprite-based beat-em-up that some believe to be the best Ninja Turtles game to ever be made. This one delivers literally everything an early fan of the franchise could have ever dreamt of, with arguably the bar being raised so high that it makes this multiplayer experience incredibly hard to top. Which of course brings us around to today, and a recent reveal of what we will be receiving next. A couple of days ago, I watched a trailer for a game titled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wrath of the Mutants. A trailer that upon first viewing left me feeling puzzled, confused and underwhelmed. I was baffled by what I had just seen, as the Turtles beat-em-up was being shown off that not only looked graphically abysmal compared to Shredder's Revenge, but more perplexingly, rather than featuring the iconic Turtles designs from the heyday when they were most popular, or even the latest incarnations from the recent Mutant Mayhem movie that I have no desire to watch, the game slated for release later this year instead features the versions from the 2012 TV series. Designs that I personally was hoping to never see again, as these CGI abominations are the ugliest and most generic the Turtles have ever looked, lacking the charm and detail of the Turtles from the original Eastman and Laird comic books or the 1987 cartoon. The once extremely muscular superhero-esque Turtles seemingly were put on a soy-based diet, gave up on life, and lost nearly all of their muscle mass. The decision to make the Turtles look more childish than previously falls in line with Viacom buying the franchise in 2009, then developing a CGI animated TV series for Nickelodeon. Character designs moved away from looking like He-Man and Thundercats, and instead the decision was made to bring it closer in line with, say, SpongeBob. This Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was geared to a core target demographic of boys aged 6 to 11. For whatever reason, the people behind revamping the show must have decided muscles were no longer appealing to young lads aspiring to grow into strong men. So no more protein allowed for the turtles apparently. Despite the show, in my opinion, being incredibly ugly to look at, by all accounts, those who grew up watching it enjoyed it. And like with other iterations of the franchise, movies and video games existed in an ecosystem around this era. Going back to the video game featuring these turtles in question, like I said earlier, I watched the trailer and felt puzzled, particularly as it flew over my head on first viewing that this was going to be a re-release. I was not the only one, as it clearly went over my friend Luke Street's head too, who watched the trailer, as he was the one who told me about it. And during our phone call discussion about the game, we were not only confused why a game was coming out featuring these old designs, but we were also a bit puzzled why the game looked so dated too. If you don't realise what this title is, and accidentally look at it through the lens of just being an upcoming console game, its existence makes no sense at all, as this isn't an era of the franchise that anyone has been asking to be revived. So to have it come back just feels weird, but more on that in a moment, as we need to cover its original release. Back in 2017, an arcade-exclusive Ninja Turtles game was developed and published by Raw Thrills, a company behind Nicktoon Nitro, a kart racer featuring Nickelodeon characters. Also responsible for producing a number of arcade games, including the well-received Terminator Salvation Deluxe light gun shooter. It's not surprising that they were chosen to bring Turtles back to the arcade too. In a pre-Shredder's Revenge world, on their official website, Raw Thrills described their game as a completely new 4-player action-adventure amusement game inspired by the arcade classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Turtles in Time, and based on the current hit animated series by Nickelodeon. They would add that they have reimagined the action brawler genre with new level creation, gameplay difficulty, pacing, and that they had completely updated approachability for modern game players. They would describe the game's presentation as top-notch, with it featuring the 3D models from the hit animated TV show, as well as the A-list voice talents of Seth Green, Sean Astin, Gilbert Gottfried, and more. The cabinet featured a large 55-inch HD screen, illuminated LED buttons and trim, an attractive marquee, and 4-player terminals in a compact footprint. They would add that the iconic brand spans multiple generations of game players, and they were sure their cabinets would appeal to kids as well as their parents. Looking at the original cabinet and how they describe it, you can easily see how it was designed to appeal to the average arcade goer at the time. You know, dads and their kids. The cabinet's artwork and marquee features those ghastly 2012 turtles all over them, easily grabbing the attention of children who are currently watching the show on Nickelodeon. However, upon looking at the screen, gameplay that, although ugly and polygonal, clearly features a playstyle reminiscent of the brilliant Turtles arcade and the terrific Turtles in Time. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see why dads would have easily parted with their cash to play this game with their offspring, particularly when we take into account some of the cabinets that would have been competing against it. I mean, honestly, do we really want our children playing on cabinets featuring Plants vs Zombies, designed to look like giant smartphones? We have Plants vs Zombies at home. So yeah, these cabinets make a lot of sense, and it's easy to see why they would have appealed to two different age demographics simultaneously. The title features a gameplay style an adult would enjoy, and a graphical style a 2017 child might have been amused by. These cabinets provide a nice balance of modernity and nostalgia suitable to bring fathers and sons together. However, I must say that while I understand why this game would be appealing in the arcade back then, 7 years on, I do not believe these same appeals translate to playing this game on a home console. I'll be honest, for game preservation's sake, I am personally pleased to see it making a comeback, but I must say, in terms of the average consumer, I feel that in 2024, this iteration isn't really geared up to largely appeal to anyone. For example, if you're an older gamer who is into their beat-em-ups, we are very well catered for today compared to 2017. As of now, we have a choice between Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, 2 River City Girls games, Fight and Rage, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Mother Russia Bleeds, a new Double Dragon, just to name a few. But with this 2017 title, removed from the novelty of the arcade, it just doesn't look to be the same quality. Obviously, I will need to play it myself before making a final judgment, but in terms of both graphics and gameplay on display, it just looks subpar in comparison to those other experiences that I've just mentioned. We can't even make a full argument that this is being released for kids this time in mind, as not only have many of the children of Turtles 2012 now grown up, but whether it be kids from that era or kids of today, beat-em-ups aren't exactly the top of the food chain in terms of video game genres that they want to get their little fat sweaty hands on. I mean, come on, this isn't exactly GTA, Minecraft or Fortnite. And outside of the very few who have nostalgic memories of enjoying this one in arcades with their dads 7 years ago, I can't see anyone rushing to purchase this one. Like what happened with Cowabunga Collection and Shredder's Revenge, the release just feels incredibly low tier in comparison, with no large demographic in existence to get hyped up about this. For fans of beat-em-ups, there are better beat-em-ups, and there are much more appealing games for kids to play on their home consoles than this. So it all very much feels like, what is the point really? Still, I hope I am very wrong about this one, and despite its incredibly ugly graphics and the fact that it includes the most dreadful looking iterations of the Turtles, that the game itself will actually be amazing to play. Positive experiences about this one can be found dotted around the internet, and the game is being built on, made longer, with the addition of 3 entirely new stages and 6 additional boss battles to fight. Once again, it seems like inspiration is being drawn from Turtles in Time, as that classic title had its content expanded on for its home conversion too. This means that in total, the game will feature 6 stages and will have 13 bosses to take down, offering up a larger experience than what could be enjoyed previously. As highlighted earlier, I am incredibly happy that unlike many arcade games, this one won't now be lost to time, but I am still apprehensive regarding whether I will be able to enjoy it. After all, it is incredibly ugly to look at. Let's be honest, pixels are better than polygons, and 1989 is a much better year to get nostalgic about than frickin' 2011. That was only yesterday. Once again, thank you to Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video, and don't forget you can use my link to pick up Shredder's Revenge and Cowabunga Collection on the cheap. How tubular! Yeah, cheerio.